Okay, now I'll start the video.
Connectra creates opportunities for people living with disabilities by providing information, resources, and programming geared towards greater inclusion and quality of life. Check out some of the programs we offer through our online learning platform, Connect Together, including our Service Mondays, where we highlight a local organization or initiative, Wednesday Chair Yoga with Bobby Seal-Kobiski, Thursday Adapted Fitness with Megan Williamson, Friday Rotating Dance Classes hosted by Janice Lawrence and Joanne Cuff, and other initiatives including presentations by the Disabled Independent Gardeners Association's Growable program and our Perspective series. Check out our updated programs calendar on our website, connectra.org, or find us on Facebook at Connectra Society.
Okay, you can start. I'll keep my video off.
Sounds good.
Keep flickering.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the VAMS presentation today on the Vancouver Adapted Music Society. My name is Bryden Vino. I'm the program coordinator with the Society. A little bit about myself before we get started. I've been playing music since the age of 8, guitar specifically, kind of my favorite instrument, and since then have picked up drums and piano, bass, ukulele, handful of other instruments.
Welcome.
Sorry, I just got a little feedback. That's all right. And then after that, I actually completed my audio engineering and music production degree at Nimbus School of Recording and Media. So I have lots of experience working on music, starting from teaching lessons all the way to mixing, mastering, and then helping promote music and live events. So yeah, let's get started. I have a presentation that I'll share with you today, going over everything that we do here at VAMS. And we'll watch a few videos that we have, just going over some testimonials, some past performances, and yeah, so let's get started. I'll share my screen here. And all right. Okay, I'll just move a couple things. Awesome. So yeah, Vancouver Adapted Music Society, music for everyone. That's what we're calling our presentation today. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. If I don't see it, I think Kauser will see it and let me know. Feel free to ask anything at any time. I'll pause the presentation and do my best to answer your question. I don't like to leave them unanswered until the end. So yeah, feel free to ask away. So what is VAMS? I'll just kind of go over our little history here. So Sam Sullivan, actually the former mayor of Vancouver, who played keyboards, and Dave Symington, our other founder, who played drums, formed the society to tackle the barriers faced by musicians such as themselves, issues they had not come across before they became disabled as a result of sports injuries. So a little quote here from Dave. We'd both played in bands previously, explained Dave, and we're both trying to find a way back into music. So our little bio here is the Vancouver Adapted Music Society supports and promotes musicians with disabilities in the Metro Vancouver area at all stages of their musical journey. At Canada's only fully accessible recording studio, we offer music lessons, help performers release their music, create music videos, and promote concerts. On top of that, there's a few other programs that I'll be touching on today. So here's a little video of Dave and some other members of the society just talking about the start of it.
What is VAMS? It's about music and how it can heal.
The Vancouver Adapted Music Society was founded by Sam Sullivan and Dave Symington, both musicians who were involved in life-changing, life-altering accidents, but wanted to keep music a part of their life.
Sam and I met in 1985, and we've both been musicians before our injuries. and began to talk about developing a society that could facilitate access to musical expression.
We found some people recording in their front room, other people recording in big studios. So we thought we'd even the playing field. And we built a studio, which I designed for them up at GF Strong.
I didn't have anything like this before, but now having it to be able to do something that I enjoy is amazing.
Tears make kaleidoscopes in your eyes and hurt. I know you're hurting, but so am I.
Just to come here and be here and having all this instrument they can try, and it's adaptable.
It's turned into like a great big huge pursuit of excellence. I've been involved in some other performances that used VAMS as a resource.
Now we're looking at a studio that's about 4 times this size, which will be, world class.
It's a pretty special environment, and you can just tell whether it's on their faces or just how they perform, how they experiment in the studio, things like that.
Everybody's as easygoing as the people are at VAMS. There's no end to what they could do.
All right, so yeah, a little history there, some of our past performances, different programs that we've put on. That was actually before my time. I joined the society in early 2020 as a program assistant, and later that year actually became the program coordinator. So I've been having a lot of fun meeting all the different people coming through our door, finding ways to adapt our lessons, recordings, everything around music for people with disabilities. And not just physical anymore. A while ago, the foundation, Disability Foundation, catered to people with physical disabilities, but since then we've actually opened up to all disabilities, visible and invisible. So no matter who you are, you might have a chance to come into the studio and try something new for the first time. So here are programs that we're currently running. We have our core programs, which is split into 3 tiers. So our first tier, you can think of as someone completely new to music, that music and instrument lessons. So it doesn't matter your skill level, you can join. Tier 2 is recording and production. So actually using our recording studio to create your music, working with like myself or program assistant, all of us trained in audio engineering and music production. Our tier 3 is live performance. So you can kind of see how things move along here. You start learning music, then you record and write it, and then it's time to perform it. Some other additional programming that we do is our Reimagine Radio podcasts, which you can find on our YouTube channel, which has a lot of other content on it. A new program called the VAMS Mini-School, and our loan and donation program. All of these I'm about to touch on in some more slides. And there you can see in the top right, a former client having fun trying piano for the first time at one of our initiatives when we go out to different group homes or children's hospitals and bring our mobile studio to be able to connect with the community a little better for people that can't actually come into the studio. So yeah, here's our tier 1, music and instrument lessons. So like I said, no previous experience needed, just a passion to learn music. I think a lot of people want to try music or want to try learning an instrument, whether you've done it before or not. Maybe after an accident, you think, oh, I'll never be able to play guitar again, or I'll never be able to play drums again. But there are opportunities. There are ways to get around it and find a new way to play. So some of the instruments that we offer in the studio, taught by myself or the program assistant, is guitar, piano, bass, drums, and ukulele. More specific instruments like horns or even like singing lessons, we look to our database of volunteers to help teach those lessons. Modifications and adaptations can be made to any instrument to make playing music way more comfortable. we work with the Tetra Society of North America, one of our sister societies with the Disability Foundation. And they have a huge database of volunteer engineers that come up with the solutions with the client to figure out how to make playing more accessible. So along the bottom there, you can see some adaptive instruments. On the left, looks like just a regular keyboard, but the stand for the music is actually an adaptive page turner. So for someone that isn't able to turn the pages or reach up there to be able to do it quickly, this device actually flips the page for you, which is, I think, maybe even better for people with no disability either. I could definitely benefit from something like this. So it's cool to see that sometimes adaptations can transcend disability and just be useful all around. In the middle there, we have our guitar table. This has gone through a few variations. We have two at the studio, and this device basically allows people to play guitar overhand, more like a lap steel guitar. Some of you may have seen Jeff Healey, famous Canadian guitarist, play this way, actually overhand. Even though he was able to play the more traditional way, he just found playing overhand was better for him. So it's nice to see that there are totally legitimate ways to alternatively play an instrument. Personally, I'm not that good at playing overhand like this. It's a total learning curve. But if you're new to guitar or you want to be playing guitar again, it's awesome to know that there are new ways to play. And even playing like full chords, you can see the gentleman there playing guitar is actually fretting an A chord with his left hand there and totally able to strum it. And then on the right side there, this is actually a new prototype that has been being worked on by a Tetra volunteer, and we're getting a couple built for the studio. It's actually an adaptive guitar strummer. So if you're someone who's had a stroke and you've lost the ability to use your hand for strumming the guitar, then this device actually hooks up to a pedal similar to that you'd find on like a drum kit, maybe one for the kick drum or the hi-hat, if you know what those are. But this pedal is hooked up to a device that sits over the strings. And when you press the pedal down, there's a little pick that moves across the strings. And when you lift the pedal up, it comes back into regular position. So you can do down and up strokes on the guitar with your foot, making it totally able to play again. We're still looking at new ways to play the guitar if you've lost the ability in your fretting hand. There are devices like the Chord Buddy, which is an attachment that goes onto the guitar just at the top of the neck, and it's a single button press, and it actually plays the entire chord for you instead of having to fret with multiple fingers. So it's nice, again, nice to see that there are alternative ways to play. So we do offer the lessons in the studio. They are kind of on a booking basis with no end date. So there may be a wait list, but if you are interested, please feel free to reach out to me. At the end of this presentation, you'll find all of our contact information for VAMS, like myself and the program manager, and just general inquiries. Online lessons are also available. These are taught by volunteers. We try to keep myself and the program assistant running the studio, and then our volunteers to help out with the online lessons. Sometimes those need to be maybe after work hours or after school hours when the studio is closed. So it's a good way to get music lessons right from home and not have to worry about coming into the studio. So here's a quick video that I actually took this morning of the studio space that we're in right now. Originally, it was upstairs here at GF Strong. Before that, it was at Pearson Hospital. So it's been through a few renditions. This space right now, we're still currently renovating. We've gone through phase 1 of making sure that we have proper airflow and intake, heating, air conditioning. And as we move forward, we'll start to do some more soundproofing and make it more of that kind of studio vibe that a lot of people are looking for. So yeah, here's a quick video showing off a couple instruments that'll explain what those adaptations are. So here we are. You can kind of see maybe even behind me, the same room here. We have some awesome instruments, lots of gear, almost too much if you ask me. But right here, this is actually a vibraphone, an adaptive vibraphone for someone that does not have the ability to press the sustain pedal. Usually you'd have a pedal down below that you would press down for the notes to ring out. This felt pad, though, is now connected to a lever device on the side so that you can use your hand to press down on the lever so that you can sustain the notes. And then we move over here. This is actually probably our most used adaptive device here at the studio. This piano stand. So usually piano stands are more of an X shape. And for people in wheelchairs, it's actually really difficult to get under the piano and be able to play confidently. So you can actually see here, it's connected to hydraulics as well. So depending on the height of your wheelchair, we can adjust the height of this piano so you can get underneath properly, as well as, and it's quite slow, but here is the tilt function as well. So maybe if you're reclined for pressure relief in a wheelchair, we can raise it and tilt it so that you can play at any angle that you desire. So yeah, a couple cool devices here in the studio. So moving on here, we have our tier 2, recording and production. This is my bread and butter. I love this. This is the most fun I have here at the studio working with artists. So we have our fully accessible studio space. Of course, here at GF Strong, every room is accessible for any disability. So coming down here is quite easy. We have lots of open space here behind me to fit, multiple wheelchairs if necessary, clients with family, friends, caregivers, anyone who needs to come in to be part of the session is welcome. We have adaptive instruments, like I said, and gear. So that could be adaptive microphone stands that are a little easier to adjust for people, as well as not necessarily the physical adaptations to things, but also the way that we handle our sessions. So depending on what someone may need from the recording engineer, that's where I might come in to find a new way for them to experience music. So for example, I have a few clients that aren't able actually to physically use the computer to produce music or can't physically play instruments anymore, which is where I come in. I can play multiple instruments so they can actually take on the role of producer and have me as kind of their musical conduit or, session musician, if you will. So I've had lots of fun getting direction from various clients on how they want their music to sound, and I do my best to interpret it. Even for people that aren't super knowledgeable in music and don't know all the terms, we love abstract descriptions of things, and I do my best to interpret it as well. So yeah, lots of fun creating music here. So yeah, we offer recording, mix, and mastering engineering services. Our recording sessions usually go for about 2 hours. You can book these through the info@VAMS email, which you'll see at the end here. Again, still potentially a waiting list depending on who's involved, but we also have drop-in hours, which you can email me as well to figure out when those are. You don't need to book any of that session for drop-in hours. You can just come by, see what the studio is all about, maybe try a few things, and maybe even get set up for a weekly session. So here is a couple testimonials about from some of our VAMS artists that use the studio to express themselves musically. So this one is Mark Ash, one of my favorite clients to work with.
So I've been recording here now for over a year. It's great. I wish it was bigger so we can play. I think people should try all their ideas. And this equipment gives us a possibility, like just to come here and be here and having all this instrument they can try. And it's adaptable. There's so many people out there who haven't even heard of the VAMS. I'm sure they will qualify to be part of our family.
So funny enough, Mark there mentioned, I wish the space was bigger. This was actually recorded when the studio was upstairs at GF Strong in a smaller room. So ask and you shall receive. We have this much bigger space here behind me, as well as you can see that opening beside me. That's our back room. Right now it's all storage, but we're hopefully going to open it up a bit more and have that be kind of our live recording space where we can have jams and recordings, have full band setups, especially with all the instruments we have. I definitely want to have more people in here playing music. So here's another testimonial here from Sylvie McCormick, who's been doing music since the 80s, joined VAMS over 20 years ago, and I've had the privilege of working with her recently on a project similar to how I mentioned earlier, where she works more as the producer and I'm more of the conduit, making sure that whatever she hears in her head is what she's going to hear when I finish working on it.
I was going to become a music teacher, and my disability got to the point where I couldn't do that. But by discovering the soundscape and electroacoustic, my music's gone all over the world, and VAMS allows me to continue the journey of being a musician composer. It is a supportive environment for people with disabilities to continue to express themselves, whether it's becoming part of a band or joining the choir. Just so many ways VAMS is so supportive.
So yeah, definitely have a lot of fun with Sylvie. She brings a cool atmosphere with her productions, more of like the echoacoustic, she calls it soundscape design, something that I wasn't familiar with at the start, but just by working with her, I've learned so much. And I'm still learning a lot, which is the most fun thing about the job too, is learning about different people's way of expressing themselves through music, how they approach it, making me a more well-rounded engineer as well. So moving on to tier 3, we have our live performance. We find accessible performance venues in the city, such as the Roundhouse Community Center, one of our go-tos. We try and find these places that are fully accessible. You know, a lot of the times places will claim that they are fully accessible, but when we break it down, not all the boxes are checked. So places like the Roundhouse are perfect because it's ground entry. We could do floor seating instead of more of a stand style seating. The stage can also be right on the floor or on risers with ramps. The bathrooms are fully accessible, as well as the kind of backstage area as well. So we've had lots of success doing performances there, such as our flagship event, the Strong Sessions. We actually had this last October, which is when we have multiple of our artists performing a set of their original music, and we pair them up with local talent, bands like Ben Sinister, who play regularly throughout the city. In the past, we've had The Odds, Jim Burns, Rolf Kempf, some actual Canadian Rock and Roll Hall of Fame members, believe it or not. So right there on the left side, you can see in the middle there, that's Greg Labine, also known as 77 Spokes, performing with Chin and Jetty, as well as Dave Symington, our founder, playing drums on the left. And on the right side there, that is from one of our virtual concerts, which is called the Strong X Virtual Concert Series. This was a program that we started throughout the pandemic to kind of get around that inability to play live. So we have, pardon the PA that comes on. It's the one drawback of the studio is that we still have the PA in here. But like I was saying, we have our Strong X Virtual Concert Series. There we have Jeff Stanfield, longtime VAMS member, performing a set of his original songs. Graham Wyman, our program manager, playing bass, and Dave Symington, again, our go-to guy for drums. Cool enough, though, you can see Dave playing drums on what's called Roland octapads. So a little history on Dave's journey with music and getting back into playing after his accident. Before, he was playing, of course, acoustic drums, like your regular drum kit setup. And after his accident, he wasn't able to access all of the components of the drum kit. So he tirelessly tried different ways to be able to play drums, having them kind of off to the side of his chair, hooked up in a different way than your regular setup. But it was just too difficult to be able to access everything. Even holding the sticks was tough with his lessened grip strength. So a few adaptations were made so that for the sticks, he actually wears wheelchair gloves with a Velcro loop in the palm of his hand that you can slide the stick into, and then he can kind of keep his loose grip still without having to worry about dropping the drumstick. And then the octapads, this is probably the coolest thing. They're made by Roland. company that actually helped kind of start up VAMS in the early days with Sam and Dave. They reached out to Roland to see about, what kind of instruments could be played by people with disabilities. So they actually sent someone to Pearson Hospital at the time where they had their jam space and hooked up these octapads, which is kind of like a drum pad. You may have seen these before. There's 8 rubber pads, kind of big squares, and you can set each pad to a different drum sound. And there are hundreds of drum kits that you can cycle through on these. And Dave plays with one on each side. And he probably usually has the same kit on each side. And he's figured out a way to time up everything so that he can play the kick drum. He can play the hi-hat closed, all of those things that you'd originally need your legs for. He can trigger those with the octapad. And at this point now, he's been playing for so long that if you hear it on the recording or hear it live, if you close your eyes, you wouldn't be able to tell if it was either a live drum kit or the Roland octapads. So here's a quick little recap of and some clips from our strong sessions from last year. Yeah, so that was from the strong sessions. Like I said, multiple of our VAMS artists featured with local talent, or even the VAMS band of me and Graham and Dave. So those are our first 3 tiers. If you have any questions about those, feel free to drop one in the chat or email me after this presentation. So moving on to some of our additional programs that we run, we have Reimagine Radio and our YouTube channel, which are combined into one channel. So for our Reimagine Radio, these are kind of a podcast series that we started sometime before the pandemic, and then added another series during, again, to provide some more content for people throughout the time that we weren't able to go out and experience live music or be in the studio during that time. So our currently running podcast right now is called the Discover Stories podcast. This is stories from our community, not just music. So we're into over 40 episodes now, which is awesome. We actually have teamed up with Adler University, and they have a student that actually comes and helps produce these podcasts. Right now, her name is Sarah Smith, and she's been doing awesome at doing these podcasts, interviewing multiple people from the community. It could be people with disabilities, their story, sharing it themselves. It could be people that work for different organizations in our community, such as people in the Disability Foundation or Spark BC, or even Rick Hansen Foundation. So there's lots of different stories that sometimes we're not privy to originally, and then it's great to see and hear about different people's journey through life, or what opportunities there are for people out there. A past podcast that we had before that we're looking to bring back eventually is our artist feature. This is more focused on music. So this is our VAMS artists sharing their musical journey and projects. That was hosted by Graham Wyman, the former coordinator, now manager of VAMS. And yeah, it could be about an upcoming release that they did, or a live performance that they had, or even just talking about music in general and what they love about it. So you can find all of this on our YouTube channel. The link's there at the bottom. But also, again, like I'll be a broken record here. Anything that you have questions about or need links to, just give me an email here. Some other things that you can find on the YouTube channel are past Strong Sessions performances, of course, all of our Strong X virtual concerts that we've had, all of our Reimagine Radio podcasts, past live performances that we've done, not necessarily ones that we've organized, but others from various organizations in the community or festivals and events within the city that the organizers reach out to us looking for performers, and then we pair them up with our artists. And then lastly, of course, just the audio of the music releases that we do from our Tier 2 program of recording and music production. Please subscribe to, shameless plug here, but if you do have a YouTube account and want to stay up to date on everything that we release, please subscribe to the channel. We'd greatly appreciate it. This is a new program that we've started here, the VAMS Mini-School. We actually started last week, had our first session. We are still accepting applications and can get you caught up on the material up to where we are now. But this course is a way for people to learn everything from the start of basic music theory all the way to music production and marketing, recording, writing, everything that you would want to become an actual music artist. So we have the 8 courses that are split into 2 terms, and they're delivered weekly in person. We have 4 participants per cohort. We do have 2 spots open left still, so if you do want to get involved in this, please reach out. This isn't currently delivered at the studio, but instead our head office. So if you are interested in that, please reach out. I'd love to get you started in the program. So another program that we run is our loan and donation. This was a huge one throughout the pandemic and last year. People within the community, I think loads, maybe thousands of people have an old keyboard that's just sitting in the basement or storage room that's just collecting dust, or a guitar that they once thought they were going to learn but had to put away and never really got the spark to go back to it. So often we get donations from the community, like keyboards, guitars, or even pretty specific instruments, like that electric vibraphone that I showed earlier with the adaptive lever for the sustain. That was a donation from someone in the community, so we greatly appreciate those. But then clients who are in need of an instrument can borrow one from VAMS as long as they're part of the program. I know sometimes it's difficult to afford some of these instruments. Doesn't matter who you are. I know guitars can get quite expensive, or basses or keyboards, especially for people on a fixed income. So if you want to get involved in the program, but you don't have an instrument, don't worry. We'll be there to support you and loan one out to you that you can have at home, practice with. And then if you're taking lessons in the studio, you can bring it in or leave it at home and use one that we have here. On top of that, though, we are selling instruments as well to the community to kind of raise a few more funds for the studio and the programs. So if you're interested in actually buying one to own it, you can visit the VAMS store on the Facebook Marketplace if you're looking to buy one at a reduced cost. So we're trying to make some more space in the studio, essentially. So getting those instruments out of here is definitely a priority, and part of that would be giving back to the community instruments at the reduced cost. So yeah, here is my contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or my program manager, Graham Wyman. Just for general inquiries or anything, there's the info@vams.org. And then if you want to leave a message, you can call our phone at 778-945-8833. Oh, sorry about that, 1 sec. And yeah, and our website is www.vams.org. So yeah, that was my presentation for today on what we do. Hopefully, if you are interested in the program, I'd love to hear from you and hopefully get started as soon as possible. So yeah, I'll just stop sharing here. And yeah, feel free to ask any questions in the chat right now. I'd love to answer anything that you might be curious about.
Hello, Bryden. My name's Tim. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Tim. Yeah, I can hear you.
Good stuff. Visually impaired. I
Okay.
belong to a ukulele group, and of course, visually impaired. Only about 5% vision, so I can't read music. BF Strong made any inroads into how to present music for the visually impaired?
Interesting question. That's something that we've been dealing with kind of lately new. We haven't had many people that have visual impairments come through the studio. But actually just recently, we've had someone who has trouble seeing music, learning piano. And what I've done is actually taken the music, and this is part of the adaptations too. It's not always just the instrument. For reading music, though, I've taken the music and actually blown it up on really big paper and made it really big. So that's kind of been one way that we've figured out how to make it easier to read music. Another way is actually like you can color code things. So if you have trouble reading from bar to bar, remembering where you were, or distinguishing between, a treble and bass clef if you're learning piano, we can color code those as well. So that was just one way that we figured that out. Have you kind of looked into any kind of ways to make it easier? I'm just curious.
Yes,
Yeah.
we use, blind people use voice over text.
Cool, okay.
We can get like a set of lyrics to read out to us, so it's all audio.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've been doing is embedding the chord changes in the lyrics.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. And
that's awesome.
It's a ukulele group. We're called No C Sharps.
Very nice.
Isn't that fun?
That's awesome.
Yeah. My partner named us. Anyway, there's about a dozen of us, and we're working away at that. But okay, your focus has been, and most of your successes has been with physical disabilities. I think I can see that now.
Yeah, up to now, for sure. We definitely want to explore all disability, though. So even you just saying that of embedding the chord changes into the audio, that's a great idea. I actually have a software that can separate a lot of the different elements of a song, too. So I can, download a song and what's called stem it out. So I can get the drums and the guitar and the bass and the vocals all separate. And then part of that recording that we do is I could potentially record myself calling out the chord changes into the song over top of it and have a version of that. So that's a great way around it. Thanks for bringing that up. All
right. Well, let's go on to
that.
another question.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Thanks again, Tim. That was awesome. If anyone else has a question, feel free to ask or put it in the chat. Perhaps nothing right now. That's all right, though. So yeah, if you do...
Right.
Oh,
it's Tim again.
Hey, Tim. Welcome back.
How would I get a hold of the instruments? I'm wondering if you have some ukuleles there. I know there's a couple of people in our group who would like to go up to from a soprano to a concert uke. How would I get a hold of your inventory?
Yeah, so either through email or phone. You can reach me at 778-945-8833 and leave a message with your phone number, and I can give you a call back.
Okay, would there be a way to contact through the VAM website?
Yeah, so
Okay, because
actually, let me share my screen here.
Well, I'm not going to be able to see that. So,
of course, yeah.
But I can find the VAM website, and then there'd be contact us, something or other.
Exactly, yeah. So we do have a contact page with everyone's email and the phone numbers as well. So yeah, that's right on the website there. And part of our website too, along with the Disability Foundation and all of the affiliate societies, is we do have an accessible option at the top left of the websites that you can enable for a variety of accessibility options that you may need to navigate the website.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. No problem, Tim. Thank you. So yeah, one more time, just if anyone has any questions or interests that they might want to reach out with. Okay. Well, Kaiser, I think that's everything for today. Hopefully, I know I might have talked a little quick. I'm a little early on the...
No, that's fine.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, it was really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, everyone.